Welcome in, everybody, to another Scarves and Spikes ratings episode. We are post Cincinnati, post that disaster. And now we're going to talk a little bit about it. We're going to talk a lot about it on Wednesday on our actual live show, but we're going to rate a couple of players and we're going to chat about them and give you guys our thoughts. Sydney, Tommy, how y'all doing?
Let's just get into it. I'm ready to go.
I figured everybody was going to be upset, so I brought a puppy to make people happy.
Oh,
I read on the internet puppies make people not depressed after terrible corner kicks. Ronald Hernandez not being able to jump, higher than this dog to stop a shot. Yeah, that's why I brought a puppy.
Is it working?
Yeah, I don't know. She's a soccer sadness puppy. I don't know.
Emotional support puppy.
Yeah, sure. Right? Yeah, that's what we are.
A CESP, soccer emotional support puppy.
Right.
She's like, why am I here?
Trademark it.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of corner kicks, let's just freaking dive into it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about Thiago Almada.
You have to do math. Like, you have to, add and subtract. Like, okay, goal is like a 7, but then you gotta you gotta subtract the corner. How much is the corner worth?
Exactly. Hurry up, guys. I'm ready when you guys are. Let's do it.
6.2 for me.
Oof.
6.5.
That's not an S. That's a 5.
Sydney. 7.5.
Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah. I'll go first.
7 sucky.
Do it.
Look, I've been, I think, a vocal defender of Thiago Almada, and I mean, he had a goal, and that's great.
Banger.
Yeah, should be goal of the week. And maybe I'm giving him a little low of a rating than he probably deserves, but the corner kick was a disaster. The corner kick was a disaster, and unfortunately, that's just what people are going to remember out of this one. And then for Pineda to come out after the match and say that's something they've been working on, but there was no reason that they should have even tried it at that point is well, then what are you doing? What was your thought process? And I don't know. I mean, I actually think Almada had a pretty decent game. I mean, he was all over the place. He was getting opportunities. He finished one of them. Again, banger, great goal. But I think I'm a little pissed off about this match as a whole, and I think everybody's rating, in my opinion, is going to suffer because of it. I mean, it was a team effort. Almada did not lose this game. Almada took a really bad corner kick, and they got punished on it. And it reminded me, I had flashbacks to Montreal 2 years ago at the Benz, where they took a short corner, and it did not go well, and then the floodgates opened for Montreal, and it was a crap show from there. This reminded me of that. I would not be as irritated about it, had they been able to just weather that storm. You gave up the one goal, but then you go and give up one right after. So it is what it is. But Almada, I still contend that he is doing a lot of the dirty work and not getting a lot of praise for it. He got the goal to boot, but that corner kick is just going to be a very tough pill for a lot of people to swallow.
Yeah, so how's the list of football, right? He scored that goal through to Jackson Hopkins, who's beside me in the press box, and said to him, Thiago needed that in a big way, just for his confidence level, just for his, not just his personal highlight reel, but his personal aspirations for 2024. And then just a shocking corner kick. We already talked about that.
What did you say to him when that happened? What did you use a single word?
I can't even remember what I said, but
I said shit.
Well, yeah. It was. I mean, Pineda said it was a training ground routine that they worked on, and I guess the big question is, why are you doing it in that situation? I mean, Pineda used the word maturity in that context too after the match, and I feel like that's a word he's used with Almada a number of times during his tenure. When situation, I mean, I don't know if he said it in particular after the Cincinnati match when Almada got sent off, but that's one of the situations where maybe Almada's maturity wasn't on display the way it should have been. The corner kick routine, maybe, I mean, we can all argue that wasn't the time for it and the 1-0 match, because if it goes wrong, you give up a goal, and that's exactly what happens. And yeah, I feel like that word's been tied to him, and I feel like Pineda Vic's deep down inside, that's the main thing that's holding Thiago Almada back, is his maturity. I mean, you can say and do all the right things on the training ground. I know this is a ratings episode, but this is a larger point. You can say and do the right things on the training ground. You have all the attention on you, all the accolades, all the clubs call us to the international team that you want, and he'll play a Copa America, he'll play in the Olympics, undoubtedly. But maybe the Olympics, maybe not so much in Copa America, but he'll be on the team, undoubtedly. I feel like there's still a little ways to go for Almada in that maturity process, becoming that player that isn't afraid of the moment. Not that he is, but can't take the moment by the horns and really put the team on his back. He's not that player a lot of the times. I do think back to the game at San Jose last year. He scored 2 world-class goals, and he scored against Philadelphia. Against Cincinnati. You would hope that was enough to see the match out. But at the same time, there's just little moments where you kind of wonder, hey, he's got to iron these out. He's got to get better here if he wants to become a really world-class player. So, I mean, not a terrible game by Almada. Of course, he had a terrific goal. Give him all the credit in the world for that. But just a horrible moment in a time where Atlanta United could at least have used it, and ends up biting them in the rear end, and ultimately they lose. Not because of it specifically, but partially due to it. So, really up and down game for Almada. And as I said earlier, up and down to a football player, especially in MLS.
So really quick, one more point I got to add. Just reminded me of that before Tommy, you go. But you did this. This happened, right? This corner kick was taken literally as your leading goal scorer and like biggest dude in the box gets subbed on. I just don't understand why you wouldn't just put the ball in the box and just see what happens.
Again, and I've said it before, and I don't hate Thiago Almada. It's this mindset of I have to do. No, it's this mindset of I have to do everything. I have to put the team on my. Stop. No, it's that mindset, and that kind of falls into that, Tyler, doesn't it? He didn't have to do it. You had Yorgos Yakimakis in the box. Get it to him. Yep. He's a Golden Boot candidate.
For the record, nobody here hates Thiago Almada.
Yes, thank you, Tyler.
Whose name begins with T's.
So glad Thiago Almada does not hate himself.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Right. The annexation of Puerto Rico, the flying V, the knuckle puck, the Philly special, all these crazy plays that ended up working, and those moments were so special. And then you got the, this is going to be like tied to the butt fumble, right? The Sanchez butt fumble. It was bad. And Tyler, immediately what you I said it yesterday when I was talking to the 5 takes guys, like this was the George Campbell play, except I think the only difference there was like a 2-on-0. I think it was literally 2-on-0 or 2 on Guzan, and it was just like a tap in for like that goal. Yeah. At that time against Montreal, it was sad, and that was the same thing that I thought about. Like, what the hell are you doing here? But the goal was great. Everything else about the game of Almada, I thought was fantastic. Yeah, it ended up costing him a goal there. You could argue, like we did last week, it changes momentum completely, and maybe they win if this doesn't happen, and they just keep going down that road. But there were some other things that in this game that happened that led to a worse result. Migraines is specifically one of them. But it is what it is. But Almada scored, which I think is huge for him.
Yep.
And everything else was great. So I probably gave him a little bit higher than I should have. It subtracted a lot more. But, I mean, before that, if that play doesn't happen, I'd probably give him like an 8.5, 9.
Cool. I mean, I agree with you, and I just, I guess that's the thing, man. It's soccer, and so like one mistake, unfortunately, when it's that bad, is going to overshadow a lot, and it shouldn't, because again, Almada is still one of the best players in MLS, period, bar none. But man, you know, when Atlanta gets punished, they get punished in the worst possible way every time.
But that happens though. Like that's in sports. Like in football, one interception in the fourth quarter. That's going to be what you remember for.
Yeah.
Yesterday in the Braves game, you know, pitched a great game, but allowed a 3-run home run that ended up costing them. Like it's just it's sports in general. The worst thing that you do in a game is what people are going to remember you by. Sorry, Matt Ryan, happy retirement, but everybody just will remember every bad interception that you had there.
Everybody will remember that freaking Super Bowl, unfortunately.
Wasn't it?
All right, Fought Mob. Almada was given an 8.0.
So I did get punished.
Thanks, Fought Mob.
By that quarter. So
yeah, because they're looking at there's too many variables in play.
It wasn't in the run of play.
Yeah,
it wasn't in the run of play.
His other numbers look pretty decent. Pretty decent. I'd say average for Almada, but nothing that just stands out. I had 10 recoveries, which is great. 78% on his accurate long ball stuff. Like, I mean, that's stuff you get, you expect out of Almada. The rest of it was just kind of there, but I don't want to beat a dead horse. Great game, minus the corner.
Yeah.
I am all for Atlanta doing innovative stuff on set pieces because they're one of the best set piece teams in the league. I will say that, but don't do something you're not ready to do, please.
Exactly.
Please. All right, moving on. Edwin Mosquera.
Finally got a start. Been asking for it for weeks. Oof. Saw him getting ripped on Twitter.
Yeah.
Ripped.
All right. I've gone back and forth about this one many times.
Yeah.
Many times. All right, here we go.
Is it under a 5? Oh, 6?
Ooh, 6.2.
6.2.
Oh, good thing I just didn't do 6. That would have been real bad vibes.
Yeah, I would have cut off the recording right now and start over.
Yeah. I guess I'll go first. Tyler, you went first. You had the lower score, but we were tied this time, so I'll go first.
All right.
Mosquera can run fast. He has pace on the wing. Tommy, I can see it in your eyes right now. Where
just picturing Jurgen Damm.
That's exactly. I'm not saying this is Jurgen Damm 2.0.
Just keep talking. I'm just imagining who I'm going to figure out in this thing.
You need him to be more lethal in the attack and create even more of the attack that he does. I mean, it's just very poor, wayward crosses, overcut crosses, poor shot attempts, etc. And
what about his TikToks? Is he good at TikToks?
I don't know if he's on TikTok, but
all right. So we are talking about Mosquera. Okay, we're good.
I mean, it was a terrible game by Mosquera, but it wasn't a great game. It was below the standard you need from that side of the pitch, and Shande Silva is your starter for a reason, and you were missing him out there. I probably would have started Tyler Wolff. I'm not sure why Tyler Wolff didn't start. What?
I'm very critical today.
I know. Yeah. I'm not sure why Tyler Wolff didn't start. He normally starts.
Because he wasn't good last game. He was terrible.
Yeah, but either way, it wasn't a great performance by Mosquera. It was an okay performance. You need much better from him. In this game against this opponent like Cincinnati. I'm good to have Shande Silva back. I think that perhaps Mosquera is that super sub you bring in against tired legs, but as a starter, I don't know if I particularly see it at this point in time, at least.
So, back when Edwin was brought in, right? Like we were doing spaces, we do our show, and we talked a lot. Every time he got brought up, my point with Edwin was he is a great project. He is a great, diamond in the rough, we'll say. He just needed refinement, and I still think that's true. And he has improved. That's the thing that I think people were kind of forgetting to realize. Like, he's gotten better. Fun fact, he is Atlanta United's tied for the leading assists, leading assist leader, whatever. He's that guy right now, right up there with Brooks Lennon. He's got 3. That's a big deal. And I think that's kind of gotten thrown under the bus a little bit, because what he does still need to improve on is his decision making in the final third. And I think that's where you watch this team, and he's going to progress the ball upfield. But I think at times he's just not quite on the same page as some of his teammates. And then he gets the brunt of the attack for the inevitable mistake that a young guy is going to make. So I don't know, man. I will say this too. He deserved to start. I still don't think he should have started. Because I think he's been so effective as being the one that comes in and just absolutely runs all over tired legs. He's been more effective that way. That's not to say he shouldn't start at some point. I just don't know that this was the time. Now, I do agree with what y'all are saying. Like, Tyler Wolff had a rough game last week, and Edwin essentially kind of won that spot for this match. I don't think he lost it. Of course, Sean Day is going to have it.
So what you're saying is it was the time.
Yes, by necessity, though. That's the thing. Like, I think it's one of those where I still think it's better to have him come on in the 60th minute, because you're going to get, I think, more out of him in the compacted 30 minutes than you will out of 70 minutes of him just being on the same page as everybody. I just think he's just so much better in that scenario at this point. A little bit more refinement, a little bit more, progression, and I think he's going to be a really good player for Atlanta. He is a really good player. The numbers actually say it, but he just gets a lot of crap, and I don't think it's fair. He's not perfect. He still has a lot of work to do, but I think he's doing okay. I think he's doing totally fine. And again, he got an assist in this match, so he's putting up numbers.
I think he deserved it. 100% deserved it at this point. I mean, we were doing the lineup video before the game. We didn't even notice that he was on the list.
Yeah.
We were just looking for Silva and Yakimakis, and just completely, like, someone messaged, I forget who it was, maybe it was Omar, but someone's like, oh, Mosquera's got the start. And we just looked, I thought he said, what does he have to do to start? And then he's actually starting. It's like, oh, he's actually getting it. I was happy that he was, and I think he was okay. I thought he looked dangerous on the attack. I mean, there were a lot of times where this team looked very dangerous, and the passes were there. And this is the same thing I said last week. There should be more goals that were scored in this game, a lot by Atlanta United. But this time, it was more in the first half, as opposed to last week, where it was all in the second half, right? And if you go up a couple goals, I was gonna say, if you go up a couple goals at home, you usually don't lose the game. You don't blow it. So, never mind. Just ignore everything I'm about to say. But yeah, I mean, getting that hot start could, eventually just leading you destroying a team, and that was the hope. And Saba had that chance too there, but like, they were all involved in that play. Mosquera was involved there. He does cause some chaos, but I think someone said, like, oh, it's he can't control his own chaos. I think that was like what someone said.
That's very true. It's very true.
On Twitter. It's like another reference here. It's like the Mighty Ducks guy that can't stop on the ice, right? He just runs into the wall. Luis, I'm so proud of you right now. I've never been more proud of you.
Taking away points for wearing that stupid hat, though.
Yeah, I'm so proud that you knew his name. But yeah, he was also in The Sandlot. He was the main character in The Sandlot, if you just put that together. But yeah, that's like, he's just pure chaos, and I don't know. I liked it. I liked that he took a chance and did something different than relying, with that. But yeah, he's just okay. Give him another start. Silva's not fully ready. Who knows? Silva's hair, though. I don't know if we're rating that, but
what would you give it?
Huh?
What would you give it?
I always wanted to, like,
8.
I guess I had frosted tips back in high school. Okay, guys, I was that guy, right? Frosted tips. and then I'd make them red and blue and all that. Never had gray. Oh, cool.
I rate any.
I have gray.
Yeah.
I rate anybody, any player that decides to go with any sort of like white, gray, whatever hair, based on whether or not it actually turns them into a Super Saiyan. And right now, the only one that has lived up that expectation for me has been Joseph Martinez. So,
Exactly.
if Shonday comes out and scores a banger or two in this match against Chicago, and he decides to throw on like a Goku hairpiece, I'm all for it. But I can't give high numbers on the hair until we start doing some stuff. Mosquera was given a 7.3 on FOTMob.
Okay.
So, which I think is fair. Again, I'm pissed off about this match, so my numbers are low. 4 out of 4 ground duels won.
Nice.
Give him an 8. Right. Screw it.
Yeah. Move them on up. All right. So the next one, the last one, we're keeping this one kind of short today. It's going to be Saba Lobjanidze, who also has received varying amounts of support on social media.
Is that sarcasm?
No, I mean, it's true. Some people are like, oh, cool, Saba. Others like, Saba's worst, whatever. I don't know. I'm also having to give this one based on the other ratings I've given.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know what to give him.
Yeah, I was kind of in the same boat.
Okay.
All right, here we go. 6 for me.
6.7, 6.1.
All right.
All right, Tyler, we'll score again.
Go again.
I always put a little higher so I don't have to go first. I try to predict what you guys are going to do and just do 0.1 higher.
Like Price is Right.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. Saba has been putting in the shifts over the past few matches. He's been getting in the best spots. He's been doing all the things right. He had that opportunity in this one. He had two opportunities in this one, and you expect something to come out of him. And I will say, at the angle that he was at for the one really, really good one that I think everybody's going to focus on, you got to either slip it into a very tight space on the near post, or you got to get the angle right and get it around the keeper. And his shot just went right at the keeper. I mean, it happens. We've seen many a good player over the years do it. It happens. I don't know. He's fighting 90% of the battle. Just got to put the ball in the back of the net. So I don't know. I don't have anything really bad to say. I think you need somebody who is, when you have these injuries, when you have all this stuff going on, you need somebody to stand out and at least get you the majority of the way to a goal. And unfortunately, he should have had many more goals this season already. He is tied for expected goals, for the most expected goals in Atlanta United right now. He's doing a lot of things right, man. He's just got to get the finishing, but the whole team has to get the finishing down, because admittedly, like you were saying, Tommy, this last match, Philly, this one against Cincinnati, like both, you had opportunities. You had so many, and you just couldn't put them away. And that's unfortunately the story. But I mean, I think he's going to be okay. I liked the match for the most part for Saba. I hate that he missed the opportunities he was given, but I don't really have anything that just stood out to me in a bad way.
He seems like a player that's driven by, his failures, and my gosh, absolutely, he should have scored against Khan in that situation. Like, big picture, it should have been maybe 3-0 Atlanta, 2-0 Atlanta at the break easily. Yeah. But it wasn't. But yeah, Saba should have scored. I feel like his crosses are overcooked. I feel like he wasn't quite on the same page with some of his teammates.
I'm supposed to go next.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. I lost track.
You're taking all my material. I'm running out of stuff.
Sorry. I'll make it quick. Yeah, overcooked crosses. Seems like he was on the same page with some of his teammates, but his work rate is still just very strong, and it just continues to be all over the pitch and affects the team just in a positive manner. I don't think that miss will shake his confidence. I think it will just drive him to be even better. Of course, he'll be disappointed, but I think he's a player that takes disappointment on the chin, takes failure on the chin, and just puts his head down and just strives to be better. So I want to see how Saba responds from this match specifically, especially going to Chicago. Plays Soldier Field. I don't think they've won in Soldier Field ever. I think they just have the one win against Chicago on the road. Yeah, they don't win on the road ever, really. But his response for one is one that I'll be keeping an eye on Saturday. Sorry, Tommy.
Word. That's no. Those. But it reminded me. I was upset when you said overcooked because that was my main thing. Like some of those crosses were lasers.
Yeah.
In there, I would just imagine like one of those shots hitting like a Cincinnati player's head or our player's head and just knock them out. Like those were just rockets in there. And
almost did to Miles Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's one of our most dangerous guys out there. I know he's not scoring and from there, but I guess if we're comparing it to bottom of the barrel, like I still like what he provides in a game-to-game basis compared to the last guy that we had on the right there. Thou shall then not be named. I mean, he's getting in those he's getting in those opportunities. Yeah, he's not. It's not always working there, but I like what he's bringing every single game. It's consistent. I understand that, but things aren't flowing well, and the left side's a big part of it. And teams are starting to figure stuff out, right? They're starting to figure out, yeah, the right side's going to be rough for us. The left side, we don't have to worry as much from there, and that's something that's got to change. I keep saying it, but like last year, both sides were working. It was great watching that. Now it's just one side, and you got to be able to do something here, and that's okay. You've tried Tyler Wolf. I know it's very small sample size for both, but Mosquera, Wolf, okay. Silva, okay. Like you've had nothing that stands out there. If you can open up a DP spot this summer, is that at the spot that you look at? Do you look at for a DP, person on the left? I don't know. But it's something to think about maybe here. I mean, again, you got 3 guys there already, but do you just go out there and try to find that DP level playing guy on the left and just, have pure chaos up front? I don't know.
For what it's worth, Joseph Paintsoul from the LA Galaxy has been phenomenal throughout the season. So
he's fun. He's fun to watch.
Done a great job.
Yeah. So maybe that's a player. Maybe that's a player that Atlanta need. Sounds like you're saying, but yeah, they need better, more consistent production.
And they, I just want to hit on something really quick that you said, and that goes to that whole point. But like, you've got the guy doing, like I said, 90% of the work. He's getting in the right spots. He's actually making the runs into the box. He's drifting over into midfield when he needs to. Defensively, actually, as well, he's been really good. And so he's doing everything. The finishing, that's something that can be fixed on the training ground. If you get what you're getting out of Saba on that left-hand side, then this team's sitting really pretty. Really pretty. But it's got to happen. It's something's got to be tweaked. Because I don't necessarily think that you need to have another player, because we've seen Shonday do it, and Edwin Mosquera and Tyler Wolf are backups. He can do it, but it's got to come sooner than later for sure. So,
yeah.
And then all right, so FOTMob, it's crazy. The lowest one out of the 3 that we rated, he got a 6.9. 6.9.
Nice. Nice.
There's your
all right.
Obligatory 6.9. Who do y'all think was the lowest on FOTMob?
Abram.
Ooh, no. I'm gonna say Wiley.
Actually, Abram and Wiley were the same at 6.2, but no. I think this is unfair, but it was
it? Oh no,
at a
no,
at a 5.2.
no.
Yeah,
Not even close.
Crap.
Not even close.
Yep. So his goals prevented were negative 0.18. It says.
Come on.
Yeah, that's trash. Not Guzan. That's trash on FOTMob.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
What did FOTMob give the post?
Everything.
10.
10.1.
Yeah.
11 for both.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool. That is our ratings episode. We will be back on Wednesday as usual to chat about this one a little more in depth.
Bring your Pineda out. Bring your Pineda out. Things. It's time. It's time to bring them out. I'm not saying I agree, but come on. It's been coming. It's been brewing. It was brewing last week. You put the coffee out. No, the coffee's ready. It's brewed. Pineda out has been trending. All of this. Bring your Pineda talk. I'm sure we'll talk about it. Sorry, guys. It was bound to happen. It's only, it only took until, April 20th for those that celebrated. That was the day that it was finally here. It's here. Yeah. The Pineda hate is high. Wow, I'm rolling here, and we're gonna talk about it. Get it? You get it? Do you get it?
I got it. Yeah.
You got it.
All right.
We're all on board.
420 was Saturday, by the way.
420 Blaze.
Yeah, and tensions were high, and the thing, and sometimes you gotta weed out the bad plays, but we'll get there. And sorry, I've interrupted you, and maybe I broke you both, but also our Patreon. Join our Patreon. We are doing a watch along this Saturday, 8:30 for the Chicago game. So we send out a Zoom link to our patrons. If you're not doing anything, you're not going to the bar, you want to save some money, just bring your alcohol to home or your water for Sydney, and then or bananas if you like bananas or apples. I don't know where I'm going with all this. I'm just ranting at this point. But yeah, come hang out with us, and we will have a good time. And it's cheaper than going out and you'll have just as much fun. I promise.
You will, and you don't have to deal with potential bar fights.
Exactly.
That's something that you have to be worried about.
Are you going to the Miles Robinson bar?
Wow. Yeah, please don't go there. Oh, that place.
I didn't know where you were going.
No, I mean, I actually wasn't even thinking that way, but that place made me angry too. So I'm not going to go there. I'm not gonna, literally and figuratively, I'm not going to go there. And go get you some merch.
Yes.
Over on scarfsandspikes.com. And with that, we will see you guys on Wednesday.
See ya.
Pineda maybe.